All right, welcome to episode 15 of the 214 Sports.
Look, man, I got a sore throat. I got 3 more days of this harrowing semester. I got an exam in three
Pretty rough on me
hours.
tonight, though.
Uh, it's 8:40 in the morning, man. It's cold outside.
It's just,
Back in his jail cell. I've been sick for 2 weeks. I got like 20 assignments on the horizon due at the end of the semester. It's not looking good right now, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
We still
Can't
gonna
say it's
push
much
up.
different for me, fellas, but I'm running on probably 3 hours of sleep, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh man,
It's pretty
Jeez,
rough
man.
right now.
welcome to the
So
club.
I'm gonna try and make this a pretty quick episode. Got a lot to talk about. Been a busy past few weeks, of course. Big Thanksgiving week we just had. Dallas Cowboys success
Yep.
once again against the Washington football team. Deron Bland posting a record that nobody has ever seen with the pick six record. But I do want to start with this, being that we are Texas students here at the University of Texas at Austin. I want to say something I found interesting this past weekend, and that's mainly Texas getting zero help from other college teams. We don't really talk about college sports most of the time, but just in this opening segment briefly, can we just talk about specifically the end of that Iron Bowl game really quick? Auburn, Alabama. The fact that a two-man rush had Jalen Milroe just sitting back in the pocket with nobody in his face, and he just heaves it to the corner of the end zone, and somehow, some way, Alabama wins that game.
And then he wants to talk about
You
being
go
Heisman.
first.
Like, come on.
Give me a Heisman.
But he got benched earlier this season. But yeah, man, I don't know, dude. It's like watching the Eagles, like watching the teams that, like, as a Texas fan, we need to see lose. It's like it's like they're the Eagles, man. Like every single time, bro, they just find a way to win, every single time. The other team always screws it up, man. It's unbearable.
My fault. I'm trying to get my phone, my laptop charger. I'm at 10%. I might be screwed, but you know what, bro? We're gonna let it rock. Hopefully this success gonna last us. Yeah, it's not looking good right now, man.
This is crazy.
But let's talk about the Iron Bowl, bro. Like, first of all, to have a two-man rush and then to give that up in the first place is just ridiculous. And then yeah, like TJ said, he said, "Give me the Heisman, give me the Heisman." Like, in what metric are you even close to winning the Heisman? Like, why would he think he'll win that award, bro? Like, no one wants Jalen Milroe on their team. No one cares about Jalen Milroe. I'm sorry, like no one wants him. Like no Alabama fan truly wants Jalen Milroe. So I can't believe that he would say something like that. But it was a good game though. But I don't know, Auburn. Something's always happening in that Iron Bowl, man. Always.
Yeah, especially when it's in that stadium in Auburn. That stadium is just magical every time. Like there was no doubt that coming off that New Mexico State loss that they were going to bring everything they could. I heard Bama fans were pretty scared going after that New Mexico State loss. They'd face Auburn in a heated rivalry right after a loss. So pretty frustrating. Texas can never get any help. It seems like teams I support never get any help. But
yeah, if you watched the interview with the college football playoff committee guy or whatever last night, whenever they were picking their teams, bro, it was like very obvious in his eyes that that they're not going to pick Texas. Like they've already decided who's getting in. You could tell by the way he was just talking.
Yeah.
They've already decided who's going to get in. Ohio State's going to sit on their ass next week while everyone else like almost loses, and they're going to sneak in because of it. It's what happened last year. It's what's going to happen again this year. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know if Oregon's really better than Texas. You can't really compare teams like that. But the only argument people have for Oregon is that they have a better loss. And that's like a better loss. That's pathetic. Like, I'm just saying. So
it's crazy.
You know,
it almost
they lost to
like
Washington, right?
Yeah,
Washington.
They lost
on the road.
Yeah.
It almost feels like it was pointless for Texas to even play Alabama at this point.
Yeah, it's like cancel the games against Michigan and Ohio State in the next few years.
If all that matters is just that you're, smacking lesser opponents.
Yeah, they're not gonna matter. Apparently the last 5 weeks only matter in college football now. It's not the whole season. The first 7 weeks are useless unless you lose.
Yeah. I just hope that with it expanding next year, I believe to 8, or I think they said 8. I hope that it brings more parity to the playoffs because right now it's getting so stale. I mean, there's teams that like obviously Washington. We never expected Washington to do what Washington did, but just like the whole format in general is just like that Michigan and Ohio State game as big as it is, and it's big every year. We knew going into that game that no matter what the result was, both those teams are still going to make the college football playoffs. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, very frustrating how the college playoff committee does the rankings because it seems like they can't make up their mind if they want to do eye test or by resume. So it's the biggest gripe people have with it so far, what I had this weekend, but pretty frustrating overall in that area. But moving on to Cowboys football. Big time win on Thanksgiving. Cowboys moved to 8-3 on the season, beating the Washington Commanders 45-10. It was once again a dominating win for Dallas. Dak Prescott once again a star in the show. 22 of 32, 331 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a rating of 142.1. Tony Pollard at 13 carries, 79 yards, and a touchdown. Brandon Cooks, 4 catches, 72 yards, and a touchdown. And then CeeDee Lamb also 4 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown for him as well. So, TJ, I'll start with you. Who were your players of the game? If you had one, if you had multiple, I know there's a lot of players who performed well in this game, but who were the players of the game for you in this game?
I mean, you got to give it to Deron Bland, obviously. I mean, I'm just gonna talk as a for the team as a whole, real quick. I mean, look, we expected this, man. We expected this from this team against the Commanders. Thanksgiving Day at home, we always dominate at home, and that's what's gonna happen. Divisional opponents at home, unless it's Philadelphia, unless it's an actual good team. I mean, we're always gonna dominate them. That's just how. That's just Dak Prescott special. The only problem is that we're going to get the fifth seed. We're going to be a wild card team in the playoffs more than likely, unless we can find a way to, beat these 500 teams and also beat Philadelphia at home. Then we might have a chance of getting that home advantage for the playoffs. But I don't think we're going to get home games in the playoffs, and that's going to be really unfortunate because that's where we're strongest at right now, and so. I'm just going to say that I expected this to happen. I expected this blowout. I think everyone on this team really played well. What I really want to see again is more stuff from the rookies. That's what I'm gonna go and flip it to. I want to see more from Mozzie Smith, because he's getting these garbage time minutes and he's just not really doing anything. He's not really impressed. Most of the times, I don't even know he's really out there on the field when he's getting snaps because he's just not being a big factor. So. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
It's my fault, bro. What was the question?
Let's who are your players of the game. Who was
Oh,
the star to the show?
I mean, obviously,
Tired, man. We all tired.
nah, bro. It's not my week, man. I'm gonna go. Obviously, I'm gonna go. Last week is crazy because we had a conversation about Dak and about his status as a quarterback and everything about how he's not top five, whatever. Well, y'all said he was. I was like, I don't know if I can put him in there yet. I mean, after the game that he had Thursday, I might be comfortable putting him in there. I mean, I looked at the stats. I mean, he's has the best QBR in football, second best QBR in football, I believe. In the past couple of weeks, he's definitely had the best QBR in football. It's not like he's facing chump defenses. I mean, this defense also kept it close against a team like the Eagles. This defense can fight. Obviously, ever since the trade deadline, the Commanders' defense hasn't been what it is, but obviously they're selling. But still, I mean, they have respectable pieces on defense. And I mean, I saw Dak carve them up. Um, I mean, 4 touchdowns, I believe 331 yards. Didn't really struggle a lot. I loved all the throws that he made, and I mean he was just cruising. I mean, there's really nothing that I can trash on his game for. I see what you guys are cooking. I see y'all's agenda, and I'm all for it. I mean, Tony Pollard actually did what I wanted him to do for like the longest, and I mean, actually like string together a decent 2 games of football. So this team is rolling. Those are my 2 players of the game. Like, don't. I mean, it's pretty easy, but
Pretty
Yeah,
easy, yeah.
pretty
at
easy.
halftime, remember though, this was a 20-10 game. It was pretty close. And so what you find with this team is that going against lesser opponents, if you let them hang around too long, eventually in that fourth quarter, it'll start to be a different story. And once again, Dallas drops 25 in
Kind of like
fourth quarter.
Kind of
Say it
like when
again?
we played the Colts last year.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
pretty
it was
much.
kind of close for a little bit, and then we just took off, and they couldn't get anywhere close to what we're doing.
Yes, and this would pretty much be the closest amount of points we've scored in a quarter since that, which was 33 in the fourth quarter in that Colts game. In this quarter, we scored
Look at me.
25. So, I like you brought that up. I was actually going to bring that up too, but I'm glad
And
you
I do want to bring
got
it
that
up
too.
what Courtney said about QBR rating. I think the stat is that Dak Prescott since week 6, which would have been that horrible loss to San Francisco, he's had a QBR rating of over 80. No quarterback has
nobody's
had
close.
one over 65.
Yeah.
So
I mean, people will find a way. I saw once again, ESPN put up the stats of his record of the 9 teams he's played or below 500, and then the 2 that he's faced above. And I'm like, what kind of sample size is that, man? And trying to show the disparity and stuff. Played phenomenally, showing you why I believe and why we all believe he's a top 5 quarterback. Playing very well again. Now on a prime time, people watching. I know the ratings truthers like me like to push out people are watching the Cowboys, anticipate for them to lose. But I mean, you saw it for yourselves once again how this guy was balling once again against an NFL defense. You can hate all you want,
still tune in, don't they?
They still tuned in. And so you see once again this team, this defense played just phenomenally once again. DaRon Bland, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, we might be witnessing the birth of a cornerback star. I can only imagine what it'd be like if Trayvon Diggs was still here, because it just still hurts that he was gone. But DaRon Bland's just been amazing so far. He was giving up a few receptions in the first 3 quarters, but he can hold his own. And it's what you expect with the growing pains of becoming NFL DB. I don't expect him to be locked down in his first few years, but he has been amazingly good for his age and for the amount of games he's played. He's putting up better stat lines than receivers in this league as a corner. 5 pick sixes now this season in the NFL, something that's never been done. You could hear a little bit more excitement in Jim Nance's voice as he was commentating that play going down, because we've never seen it. Deion Sanders never done it.
But, man, Sam Howell could have tackled him, bro. Sam Howell could have tackled him.
I'm not going to lie. Them tackles at the end, they were pretty lousy.
It was pretty lousy, man.
They were pretty lousy.
Hey, I will say, man, Washington does have like an underrated wide receiver room, though. Like Curtis Samuel's not bad at all. Dotson, and then you also have, of course, Scary Terry, who hasn't been that big of a factor in the last few years, but we know what he can do, man. And Sam Howell, I'd like to say, first of all, I bet over on Sam Howell yards, and I got it right. All right. And I said under on Dak Prescott yards, and I got it right. And I still said it was going to be a blowout.
What was the over-under again?
For both of them, it was like 270. They were at the same exact one. They were like 1 yard between each other.
But you put under on Dak?
Yeah, I said he was going to go under the yards. I said Sam Howell was going to go over. And we're going to blow them out.
No, Dak got 331.
And he got 331.
He got 331? Wait, I thought you said... Okay, never
Bro
mind.
Lost.
I still got half right. I still got Howell over. That's all that matters, man.
He did predict the blowout, though.
Parlay didn't hit, man.
One thing I'll say about Sam Howell, man, like, I don't know what it is. He's the NFL passing leader by now, but it's crazy how he's just, because he may be a problem in the future. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but he's the only quarterback to throw for 300 on us this season so far, and it has not been close. What are you laughing at?
You scared of Sam Howell, bro?
I'm not scared, but the fact that he was throwing kind of at will. But the problem was it could score past the 50.
If
So
they're gonna get someone like Devontae Adams, hell yeah, I would be scared. But nah.
hey man, he throws that
I
thing.
don't know.
I'm just saying. But looking forward to Thursday night football against the Seattle Seahawks. The Dallas Cowboys will face off for the first time in a while against Seattle. It's been a long time, but no longer against Russell Wilson. So Geno Smith going to come rolling into Arlington for the Cowboys' first Thursday home game in a good second. Who should we look out for on the Seattle roster? Is there anybody who can potentially have a breakout game against us? Could Jackson Smith and Jigma come home? He's a Rockwall kid and show out at the Star and put on a crazy show for the ages. Who can be that guy for Seattle that we have to watch out for to make sure they don't have a sneaky good game and upset us in Arlington?
I don't know, man. Look, Seattle's offense is so bad right now. First of all, uh, Jackson Smith, I was gonna pick him though. I mean, you look at, DK Metcalf, he's hurt right now a little bit. He's been banged up. Uh, Kenneth Walker's out. Geno Smith has been awful. Zach Charbonnet is another guy who could be a potential, game changer maybe. He's a backup running back that's been getting starting running back snaps the last couple games, of course, with Kenneth Walker being out. He hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't really had a breakout game yet. He's bound to have one. If he's a starting running back, he's bound to have a good game. So I don't know. Yeah, that's who I'm going to say. I really don't think that this is, and of course they're still over 500, so it's going to count as an over 500 victory finally, thank goodness. But
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I don't see the competition. And I'm not trying to be super biased, not trying to be super, homer right here. I just, this is just what the Cowboys do. They beat down on teams that aren't going to be contenders, and then they struggle against the contenders. This is just what they are, especially at home. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Seattle's definitely not lucky with their schedule this year. I mean, they already coming off of two losses against obviously the Rams and now the 49ers. And now on the Thursday night, they gotta go against the Cowboys. Then right after this, they got the 49ers again, and then they got the Eagles. So, I mean, these Seahawks are right in the midst of it. They probably see their playoff chances fleeting. And so, with seeing your playoff chances fleeting, you would think that you will fight for it, and this will be a very like hard-nosed, gritty game. I really don't see it like that. Like TJ said, there's not really a lot of people that I could like say like, oh my God, this guy's going to be something special because DK's been disappointing this year. I don't even know what Tyler Lockett's been doing this year. Jackson Smith, he's definitely. I would only say Jackson Smith just because these past couple of weeks he's definitely shown why he was picking the first round over some of those receivers. So I like Jackson Smith. I think he can be something in this league, but against that Cowboys defense, I'm not sure. I mean, I think when you give Geno Smith pressure in his face, he really likes to unravel, and I think that's exactly what the Cowboys are going to be the best at doing, especially against Geno. I mean, against that Niners team, he had no hope. So I mean, I don't really know anyone to watch. It'll be Kenneth Walker, but he's hurt. So I mean, this game's gonna be ugly, man. That's what I'm gonna say.
Oh man, dang, losing hope. But
We're gonna have Sherman on the podium watching his old team just get smacked by a team that he hates, man. It's gonna be great.
yeah, but I mean, like that was a rough primetime loss for the Seahawks losing to the Niners. But as they come rolling into town, they're 6-5, like you said. TJ, I can't wait to see how they move the goalposts if we beat this team. That's over 500. I can't wait to
they
see.
Still suck.
I can't wait. I got it already. Like I got it. I can see it already right now. I mean, it's just the Seahawks. I mean, it's 6-5. I get they're not like a crazy opponent, but since they've been hammering home the above 500 argument and all these networks, I can't wait to see what they do if we win. But for me, I mean,
can't wait to play Philly.
Yeah, I can't.
That's
wait
who
for
I
that
really
game.
want to beat. But look, Dak said it himself though. He said, "Hey, I haven't done shit yet." I think that's what he said.
I love that mentality. Not gonna lie, I love that. Because a lot of Cowboys fans like myself have been running wild We've been trying to act like we already kind of won or we're heading to the first seed, but I like my quarterback's even keel. I like that. He's been a little fiery in these interviews. He's a different Dak this year. He's a little longer giving those robotic press conferences, man.
Yeah. I'm
He's
not
bringing some
getting 10
personality.
interceptions this year.
He's
Might be
talking
right
this year.
now.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's on a good trajectory. 6 interceptions on the season. But for this roster, man, the Seahawks, I think I'm only looking at just this receiving core. Jackson Smith and Jigba has been kind of underwhelming in this offense. They don't use him as much as they could, which I don't understand. I mean, you got this good receiver from Ohio State, and then you hardly use him. But maybe DK Metcalf, too. He's been kind of underwhelming, like Courtney said. Against big power receivers, we usually don't do that amazing, i.e. Debo, i.e. A.J. Brown. We kind of held A.J. at bay a little bit more last game.
Debo
but
kind of has just been disappointing this year, though, in my opinion. He just hasn't been good. He's been injured,
Because the
too.
Niners, I mean, not Niners, the Seahawks, if he keeps on that trajectory, then he'll have a good rest of the season because he was going crazy against the Seahawks.
Yeah, he
Interested
was.
to
And that
see
he
how
really hasn't.
our corners line up against this receiving core. Because I believe the pass rusher do its job against this O-line for the Seahawks. It's not that good. Geno Smith, I hate to sound like a hater here, but I've never really been like a Geno like supporter through this comeback player of the year kind of pursuit that he's been on these past 2 seasons, man. I haven't bought into it. He really is like he's a lower tier quarterback in my opinion. There's a reason he's been a backup for all these years.
Ooh,
But
even worse.
coming back, I'm just not high on him. I can see why people may like love his success story. I think it's a good story, but I'm just not on the hype train with him anymore. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
maybe
this
it's
should be
peak.
Say it again.
No, you go ahead. Oh,
I was saying last game he got sacked 6 times against that amazing Niners pass rush. I think it could be close to the same. I mean, this Cowboys pass rush is just brutal these past few weeks. They've been going after guys. I think Geno Smith could get sacked possibly 3 or 4 times again, minimum. Thursday night game. Glad to have another Thursday night game before we have a week and a half before our another game. But let's move now to some Dallas Mavericks basketball. The Mavericks now 11-6, coming recently off 121-115 win against the Houston Rockets at American Airlines Center. Recent news, fellas, I do want to start with this. Mark Cuban selling his majority stake for the Dallas Mavericks to Miriam Adelson and the Adelson family from Las Vegas Sands. And Mark Cuban also saying that he'll be heading off Shark Tank for his last season. What are your thoughts so far on the new ownership stake now in Dallas?
I don't know, man. I was never, again, I'm one of those people who's like, Mark Cuban was the best owner in the league. He was the worst GM in the league. And I don't know, man. Like, I called my mom about it. She's like, she goes immediately. She's like, I think he got in huge trouble. And I was like, I think he's running for president. That's what I think. I think he's running for president.
That's what I hear. That some people think he's either president or that he was doing some nasty stuff on the low. It's either that. It's crazy.
It's like either one of the two, man. It has to be for Mark, man. But I also think it could be just because he's also might be just retiring. His daughter's about to go to college, so I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people were a little shocked by him selling the team. I guess, of course, I mean, I was shocked too. I mean, everybody was a little shocked that, at least it just came out of nowhere. But that's what the Mavericks do. They come up with all these shocking like rumors and shocking trades, all this stuff, out of nowhere. And it's never planned. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead.
I mean, it's weird because even though he sold the team, he still has ownership of the team. Like he still has all control of all operations.
And he's running basketball ops still. Yeah.
Stake, but he still runs basketball ops. He could
It's a
still
W.
be fired
He
from
was still
basketball
sidelined
ops.
last night cheering for the team too, sitting next to the bench.
But I'm assuming that in his contract somewhere he posts that he can't get fired until he wants to leave. So I mean, I don't know how it works. I think whoever the guy who bought it, I don't know how to say his name. He's a sucker. I wouldn't buy that. I mean, but I mean, I'm not a billionaire, so I mean,
3.5
I'm just
billion
saying
is a
like
lot,
no,
man. That's
3.5 billion, and I
I
mean, he
don't know.
still has like basketball operations. Shit, I'm asking for basketball operations too. I might as well pay 5 mil,
Hey
but
man, $3 billion, man.
Think about that
it's
profit
crazy,
too. He bought this team for
Hey,
two
that's a
hundred
lot of
eighty-five
money.
million in
crazy,
the
bro.
turn of the
I don't know,
century,
man. What
and
could he
At
even
selling
do
it
that
for
with
that
that
time,
money,
much.
man? Run for
yeah,
president?
It's crazy,
I think
man.
that's what he's doing.
Exactly.
That's what he's doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
I don't
Miriam
know, dude. I think a
Adelson,
lot of people were a little nervous about seeing like the Las Vegas family and all that stuff. I don't think it was really that nerve wracking. I mean, I guess I got a little nerve wracking because, of course,
Vegas
the
Mavs. You
NBA
ain't
is
ready.
like,
You ain't ready for
yeah,
it.
the NBA is like, just in love with Vegas now, and they just like every single last second of the day, they're thinking of Vegas and getting a team there. So, I mean, I don't know if I don't know if it is a little worrying. I'm not going to act like I'm a super big expert here, but I thought immediately, at least to me, and I've seen a lot of people say this online, is just, I knew this guy Mark Cuban was always trying to get a casino stadium lot, like a stadium with a casino,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they're going to do is just try to lobby for gambling to be legal in Texas, and that so they can build a
She
huge
should be.
stadium that is going to be with casinos and stuff. Because that's what Mark Cuban's going to want to do. He's going to want to, he's in the same city as Jerry Jones, and he's watching Jerry Jones do all this stuff, AT&T Stadium, the Star, and he's stuck with shitty old American Airlines Center. He's pissed off, man. He's trying to get something big of his own, so, you know.
Well, I will say, interesting woman this woman is. From what I'm reading over the past few years, she's had an interesting career. Her husband passed away sadly in 2021, but she has been an ardent supporter of many political causes. But moving on to the analysis here, Dallas Mavericks 11-6 in the season, now third in the West behind the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Nuggets,
The
they're behind.
T-Wolves,
Yeah, T-Wolves are on a
crazy,
crazy
man.
run right now.
13 and
Anthony
4. I
Edwards,
just can't believe it.
yeah, having a bad
Insane.
injury though. I saw with his hip, I believe, last night. But
Ugh.
the Mavs are behind the T-Wolves 2 games behind the Nuggets, who were second, half a game. Not much to talk about with this Dallas Mavericks team recently. We've seen them face off and beat the Lakers in a close game, and
I
then
think
the
there's a
second.
lot to talk about with this team, man.
Oh, you do? Well, here's what I'll say. Second night of that
I'm
back-to-back
sorry.
was once again a brutal watch. LA Clippers lost 88-107 and then end up winning. So, what are your thoughts so far on this past week and past stretch for the Mavs, teacher?
No, they're just soft, and I think their defense was pretty good, against the Rockets maybe a little bit. That was a Scott Foster game. You're gonna have the teams, yeah, just the refs are gonna take over those games. Especially it was the woman ref too. I've noticed
Oh,
that she likes to call a lot of fouls too.
oh my
I'm
God.
just saying. And so I mean, I'm just saying that it's those two refs and plus the Gucci Mane ref. All three of those refs I've noticed are really bad with calling excessive amount of fouls. And they had two of the three last night against Houston. So I'm getting off track about the refs right now. Um, I think this team is just really soft though. They're having tough times with the paint. All these players were dominating in the paint last night, especially in the paint in the second half. I mean, so it's gonna come down to just we're not aggressive enough. We had a huge problem with Lively being out against the Clippers, and we weren't able to get rebounds. We weren't able to get those 50-50 balls. They were just dominating us in the paint, getting rebounds. So now, having Lively back, it's a little bit better now, but we're still having a really tough time with just being able to keep our man in front of us and being able to, get that physicality that teams need to go far in the playoffs.
I mean,
That's all I gotta say.
like originally, I was kind of with you, John. I mean, this team really is what it is when we talked about last week, and it really is what it is we talked about 2 weeks ago. I mean, I think they're 2-4 in like the last couple of weeks. They're kind of just like posting. There a lot of reliance on their offense, which is good to start at the season, but eventually I think this is gonna catch up to them. I mean, like TJ said, they're soft. They're just soft. I mean, um, it's kind of, and
Mm-hmm.
I like the tandem of Luca and Kyrie, especially against Houston. And Houston's been surprising, so I don't want to say Houston's like some type of team that you just beat down on. Like Houston has been pretty better than I thought they would be. But um, I mean, Kyrie had like 7 points in the third quarter, and he ended up with like 27. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Luca, I believe Luca scored over 40, if I'm not mistaken.
41.
Um, yeah, 41. So I love that tandem, but like, let's be real. After them two, who are we really? I honestly don't know why we had the sixth best ranked offense. After that, it's like Tim Hardaway. And it's like I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of done with Tim Hardaway. I mean, I could move
Oh
on from Tim
man,
Hardaway in a
don't get me
heartbeat.
started, man.
So like, this team doesn't really have the, I guess, the depth to like get far right now, in terms of who they can rely on. Because Luka and Kyrie are always gonna have an arm thing. And then when you can't rely on the defense and the offense is struggling with Luka and Kyrie, this team is, I mean, they're cooked food. So I think they gotta find some type of, I guess, offensive flow outside those two. And I mean, our stars also gotta play some defense because Kyrie and Luka ain't playing no goddamn defense either.
Here's a funny stat I saw via Mavs Muse on Twitter. The Dallas Mavericks are undefeated when Derek Lively scores 8+ points. 7-0 when Derek Lively scores 8+ points. So, I mean, they're just saying get your young rook involved, I guess, with that
I
stat.
like
But
it. I like that plan.
I do want to mention in that starting lineup, man, if you look at that box score, it's hilarious. I mean,
Nasty,
this
man.
last
So
game,
nasty.
Luka with 41, Kyrie with 27, and then everybody else with 8, 5, and then 0.
I'm gonna give Grant Williams a pass for just one more week. It's
A
early in the
lot of people don't
season,
want to give him
man.
a pass. I'm surprised to hear that.
Reggie Bullock was the exact same way at the start of the year. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I
I'm
don't
just,
know.
I don't know, because I saw some people say, is Josh Green, did he replace the wrong forward? Because we saw Derrick Jones Jr. get demoted in the
Derrick
lineup.
Jones Jr. had a great game. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I don't. Well, I wouldn't say he had a super good game. I would say that he just finished off pause really well. And
that's crazy.
Nah,
fourth quarter scoring, which is something that we really need. Kyrie Irving and Luca are just out there playing ISO ball all fourth quarter almost. So
Yeah,
literally.
TJ, it was my belief that you had plans for a little bit of Dallas Mavericks trivia to end a
yeah,
little bit
dude,
of this
I'm
segment.
super excited. I wanted to ask y'all about this because there's no way I was gonna be. I won't get this right. I don't even know how. I wouldn't even be able to get this ranking. But we got a Hoops Hype article that I saw over the off season, and I came back across it just a couple days ago, and I was like, I want to do this on the podcast. So it's the highest paid players in Dallas Mavericks history. Okay, the highest paid players in Dallas Mavericks history. So all the players that have gotten paid the most out of the Mavericks, and there are some really big surprises on this list. I know y'all can get all 10. All right, all
Ooh.
10. They're all
Damn.
still very prominent names, but some of them are surprising. So I want to hear from y'all.
Damn.
If I want to see if y'all can guess all the players on this list, and at least a little bit. I'll give y'all hints if y'all are struggling. There's some obvious ones,
Okay.
obviously.
Yeah.
Dirk Nowitzki on the list for
Yeah.
sure.
Dirk Nowitzki is number one on this list at
Okay.
$255 million. There's no one
Um.
over $125 million.
That crook
After that,
Chandler Parsons is definitely on this list. Gotta
That
be.
crook Chandler
Crick is
Parsons is
crazy.
not on this list.
What?
Yeah, he actually just missed the list. I mean,
Wait, this
Huh.
is this was off of based off of like this year or last year, I guess, like ever since last year.
in history.
So
in history.
in history, so
In the
Luka got
entire
his deal,
history.
right?
So the
Luka,
people, Luka?
yeah, did Luka get his deal? Remember?
Luka is 7th on this
Okay.
list. He's about to be 6th.
Dang, that's insane.
Actually, probably, but he's actually about to be like 3rd.
Highest
Yeah.
paid all time.
Maybe
Jason
even
Terry.
Oh,
Jason Terry is 5th on this list.
We got 3. We got
Jason
3.
Terry money. Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd is 9th on this list at 62 million. All right, Ford, we're cooking.
You know,
we're
this is
cooking.
gonna be a kind of a. This could be a random guess.
I don't
Could
know
we
if they're
let him
counting
go?
his coach salary.
Oh, are we counting a coach too?
I don't know if it was coach salary. I don't know.
How about Steve Nash? We let him go, but I don't know. No.
Nah, we gave him
Yeah,
crappy
I
money.
don't think they gave him
Gave him
that
crappy
second
money.
deal. What about just a little random? What about Mark McGuire?
Mark
That's
McGuire's
insane. That's a
not
crazy
on
name
this
drop.
list.
I
It's a
He was
crazy
on this
name,
team
bro.
for a good amount of time, though.
See, the
Rolando
weird thing
Blackman?
about this,
Rolando Blackman's
that was
not
gonna be
on
my
this
second
list
thing.
either.
The bad thing about this team is like they're pretty
I
much
get
terrible
stumped.
until the turn of the century. So it's
Until
like,
Dirk Ryan, bro.
yeah,
No,
Tyson
they had
Chandler.
decent. No
Tyson
way.
Chandler?
No way. No
He
way.
only played 2 years with the Mavericks. He's
Yeah,
not on
I-
this
yeah,
list.
I-
Same
we
with
only
Chandler
have
Parsons.
4.
Only 2 years.
We only
Wow.
have 4. Dude, I'm just.
Yeah, you still have 10, 8, 6,
It's gotta be some
4,
mid
3,
2000s.
and 2.
How about Michael Finley?
Michael Finley
Finley's a good one.
is 2nd on this list at
He got
124
5.
million. He played 8 seasons with us, so yeah.
5. Who are some long term Mavs? JJ
I mean,
Barea?
JJ
No
Barea?
way. No way he's that paid.
JJ Barea is not on this
Okay,
list.
I'm
No.
about to say he should be on the list. Devin
just thinking
Harris.
of-
Devin
No.
Harris not on the list either, right?
Devin Harris is
No.
not on this list
Okay.
I'm
either.
just thinking of
Okay.
long term Mavs.
Yeah, it does not count for inflation.
There's no way these
Just letting you
80s, 90s Mavs are getting paid like that. It's gotta be modern day
Nah,
Mavs.
because
There's no way.
it's all modern day Mavs.
It's gotta be. I'm missing some mid 2000s
On the
Mavs
team for a long time.
or some early 2010s Mavs.
How long was Kristaps? Is Kristaps on that list? I don't think he would be, but
No
I
way.
mean, he was
He
getting
wasn't
paid.
here that
Do you
long.
want to guess? Do you want to guess Kristaps?
I mean, it's not like I'm getting buzzy, so I might as well Kristaps.
Kristaps is 4th on the list.
Okay.
at
What?
78
All time?
million.
crazy.
Oh,
All
we
time,
gave him the
yeah.
bag. That's
Oh, he
insane.
got the bag. You know he got the bag.
That's crazy. 6.
That one bag put him all the way at 4th.
That's
How much
insane.
we got right now? We got six.
You got
we got
half.
6.
You still need
5.
6. Yeah, you still need 3, 6, 8, and 10.
Who would be
3,
3?
6, 8,
That-
and 10.
It's not Dirk, Michael Finley, and not Kristaps. Who would be 3?
Is Nick Van Exel on the list?
Nope,
Nick Van Exel?
it's not on this
I'm dropping
list.
some crazy names.
I'll give you guys some hints. There is an 11 and 12 on the list. I did not want to put them in because they are very hard to guess. But they are 2 mid 2000 players, and it is Eric Dampier and Sean Bradley.
Yeah,
Hey.
Yeah, I would have never gotten
Eric
those two either.
Dampier? Nah.
3, 6, 8,
man.
and 10, this guy says.
Trying to think of 2000.
Who would be
6.
3, bro?
That's what I'm trying to figure
It has
out.
to be someone that we just like gave a bag to that didn't deserve it. No way. Sean Marion?
Yes.
Nope, Sean Marion's not on this list.
Damn. Not the Matrix.
Oh man.
This is crazy.
Wow.
Y'all get pretty
man.
pissed off when you find out
Oh,
who
we
it
all
is.
get this?
Who are these players?
Tim
are.
Hardaway?
Tim Hardaway Jr.? Or
Yeah,
Tim
on the
Hardaway?
list.
I'm
Junior.
Yeah, of
Nah,
course.
nah,
Tim
man.
Hardaway Jr. Well, Tim Hardaway Jr. is 3rd on this list.
That's crazy.
Third.
Dude, Mark Cuban,
Tim Hardaway
man.
Jr. is
You got to
3rd
ask
on
for
the
this one
list
day, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
3 on our
at
list?
86
Yuck.
million.
That is
Because
crazy.
he's been here since the Porzingis trade, and he got the money.
It's
had
because he
a
got the
huge
bag
contract
after
with the
that.
Knicks.
He got that bag after that crazy series he had against the Clippers in 2021, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he got
he was
that
crazy
bag
that
after
series.
that, and he also just had a huge contract with the Knicks beforehand. He was a victim, not really a victim of the 2016 offseason, where everybody was getting like huge deals. Mozgov got like 16 million a year, crazy.
Everything.
Yeah.
These dudes, everybody gets 150 mil minimum. But 6, 8, and 10 we're missing. I don't know if I can do this, Courtney. You're gonna have to help me out on this.
I'm trying to think of mid-2000 players, bro. I'm realizing a theme here. It's people that really haven't been on the team that long, but we just gave the bag. But I'm trying to think of who we gave the bag to.
I guess Jason Terry. I think he said I wasn't
Yeah,
on the list.
we already said
I think
Terry.
Terry's 5 on this list.
Yeah.
There's a player that we gave a bag to. A real big bag. Huge bag. People were like, damn, why'd they give him that big of a bag?
We already said Porzingis. I already said
I know
Hardaway.
we got DJ late, so I don't think DJ.
What else do we
would be on
complain
there.
about in Mavs pay?
Bro,
I know.
I know there's some. I know like when you name off the rest of them being back, I didn't get it. I'm just gonna start saying random people. That Sean Stevenson, we ain't give him a bag.
No, he wasn't
Sean
long.
Stevenson.
No
All
way.
right, I'll give you a clue. One of the people on the list, because I really want y'all to guess this guy. One guy on this list is still on the Mavericks today.
Oh my God, Dwight Powell.
Dwight Powell is 6th on this list at almost $72 million
You're gonna have to
paid
answer
out
this,
from the
Mark
Dallas
Cuban.
Mavericks
That's
in
sick.
his career. $72 million for Dwight Powell throughout his career.
Bro.
Because he
Man would
spent
not be
9 years
starting
with
in
us.
No, it's crazy.
I
Like
think he's in his 10th year with us actually now.
this is like a Lakers podcast, and then out the top 10 Lakers with the most money. You got like LeBron, Kobe,
Pretty
Shaq,
easy. Oh my
and we
God.
got Dwight
Dwight Powell.
Dwight Powell's 6th on our list all the time. That's crazy.
All right, so it's the
8 and
last
10?
two, 8th and 10. They played in the 2010s. That's just all I'll say.
2010s. I already said Chandler Parsons. 8 and 10. 8 and 10.
Who was on was anyone on the Dennis Smith Jr. teams that, Dirk and Dennis Smith Jr. that we pay a lot of money?
Both of these players played with Dennis Smith Jr.
See, I
Oh
knew
my
it was one of
God.
those. I can't remember that era because the era is so sorry, bro.
I can't think of it, man. I might have to concede.
One of them's an NBA champion.
Okay.
We paid him after DeAndre Jordan. We gave him a max contract for 3-4 years. Traded him halfway through a game.
Oh, Harrison Barnes.
Okay.
Harrison Barnes.
Okay.
10,
That makes
number
sense.
10. He's at
Another guy
10 was
Mark Cuban
almost
gave a bag.
$61 million.
Can you believe we
And
thought that guy
then-
was going to be our franchise player?
Yeah, I mean he was playing like a damn all-star at the start of the season when we
Jesus,
first
man.
signed him. He was a great player. I do. That's another player that if we were to re-sign him in his later years, I wouldn't be mad at all. This guy is probably hasn't officially retired, but is probably near the brink of retirement. At number 8, since we're running out of time, I'll just say it right now. It was Wesley Matthews.
I wasn't
At
going to do that.
$63 million.
Another crook.
Wesley Matthews, played. I mean, he had a 5-year, $70 million contract with the Mavs, and that was after DeAndre Jordan signed with us. DeAndre Jordan fleeced us. He left us, and we asked Wes Matthews. We said, "Hey, do you still want this, contract? Do you still want to play with the Mavs?" He said, "Absolutely." So,
that list shows kind of the ineptitude of this Mark Cuban ownership. I'm not gonna lie. I love Mark, but man, some of them dudes in that list had no business being our highest paid all time.
I wonder if Mozgov would show up for the Lakers, though. I mean, it probably not, but that would be pretty funny. I mean, he got $64 million.
It'd be
from
hilarious.
Him, so
yeah. But that's it for our Mavs segments. Do you have any Stars news at all, TJ? Our Stars reporter.
We're running out of time, but I'm just saying they're going back to Texas hockey. Good win last night, 2-0 win. Suffocate the team on defense, and take advantage of the power plays, and that's what they did. So stop looking at me like that, Joe. All right, look, stop looking at me like that, man.
I was waiting for the pause there, but you just kept going, so I'll let you keep going. Never mind.
That's that big D hockey right there. That's
that
big
D hockey.
Man.
Big D.
It's gotta be a level to this, bro.
Yeah, but
my fault. That's the last one.
Moving on to our Cowboys props against the Seahawks. We're gonna open out with Cowboys Seahawks with a combined score of projected 47.5. Steve, TJ, I'll start with you. With 47.5, you're gonna go over under for that score. Cowboys have been rolling. Seahawks have kind of been reeling recently. Is it going to be over or is it going to be under 47.5 for
Sometimes
total
I
combined
think
score?
that sometimes I think the Cowboys could score over 47.5 points by themselves. I think the Seahawks defense hasn't been that good. But I'll go under. I'll go under Thursday night football. Thursday night football always gets a little weird. I don't think if Thursday night football really is always it's never really too high scoring. Um, so I don't know. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say under. I think I always say over for the score, so I'll go under this week. Why not?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go over just because. I mean, 49 scored 31. It wasn't 47.5 as the total, but I think the Cowboys can get up there. So I'm gonna go 47.5.
Yeah, when
Over.
we talk about weird games in Thursday night football, I usually think of the teams that play two times in a week. But both these teams haven't played since Thanksgiving, so they're well rested. I think it's an over. I think they both can score at least uh, 25 respectively. I think the Cowboys are going to blow them out again, so I think they'll be responsible for the most of that. But I think it'll be possibly like a 40-something to 20-something game. Beat easily 47.5 over.
Mhm.
But moving on to Dak Prescott, who has been surging. We've been seeing this projected pass yards go up and up and up. And I used to be pretty pessimistic saying, no, none of this is hitting. It's going to be a run game kind of game. But we're seeing Dak Prescott surge as a top quarterback in the game. 280.5 is his projected pass yards. Do you have it over or under, TJ?
I'm gonna go under again this week. 280 and a half. Look, 280 is a lot of yards, and he's been hitting that a lot in the last few weeks. I think he's hit that in the last 4 weeks, I think, in
Mm-hmm.
a row. I think that makes sense to go over, but since I already went under on my score between the Cowboys and Seahawks, I think I'm gonna go under here as well. And another factor is just I think you know of course, this is something that I always say, and this hasn't really been like true the last couple of weeks. But you blow them out, Dak doesn't have to throw that much anymore. Maybe the defense gets a couple touchdowns, and so that's what I'll say.
Yeah, part of me wants to go under because I just think it's gonna be a running type of game. But I think that Dak is trying to build an MVP case. So when he does face Jalen Hurts and he does beat Jalen Hurts, and this whole Jalen Hurts MVP saga stops because he's 10-1 because he's a fraud. When that's over,
Mm.
Dak will be
Wow.
number one in the ranking. So I think he's trying to build his resume up. So I'm actually gonna go over because I know he wants the MVP.
And to your last point, TJ, speaking of him just not playing towards the end and also relying on the defense, that Panthers game, he didn't have many pass yards. So
Mhm.
he's been dominating at times that he's been hanging around with teams, but if fourth quarter rolls and they're starting to show they can lead away from teams, he's going to be out of there midway through the fourth quarter. So I think he gets over 280.5 pass yards again. I think he's just been rolling. Moving on to CD Lamb, receiving. Didn't have a crazy receiving game that we expected, but once again got a touchdown. 84.5 is projected for receiving on player props. What do you say, TJ?
Uh, I'll go over for this one. 84.5 yards. That's light work for CD, man. That's light work for CD. Uh, I don't know. He hasn't really played a lot of the Seahawks in his career. I don't know if he's even played the Seahawks in his career. He probably has. But I don't know. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to go off what he could do, um, especially because we don't know if this is going to be a close game or a blowout the Cowboys could do either. But I'll go over for him. I think he's going to be the top target again this week, obviously. Reason why he's wide receiver number one. So, yeah.
Yeah, so the past 2 weeks, I think Brandon Cooks has been their leading receiver. But I think that CeeDee Lamb is gonna come back and have a game that he has had a couple of weeks ago when he had that stretch. I don't see why he wouldn't. It's been a couple 2 weeks for him, but I think he's gonna come back on Thursday and show why he is the number one receiver.
Yeah, I think C gets rolling again. In the past game, 84.5, I think is pretty generous against this against this Seattle secondary. Uh, they've improved a little bit, but I still think that he can chop them up a little bit. I think he has a 100-yard game once again for the Cowboys. Moving on to Tony Pollard, who had a better run per carry once again this game. 6.1 per carry. Tony Pollard is projected. Oh, I think I wrote the wrong thing there. That cannot be right.
I was gonna say, there's no way it's 19.5.
I was about to say, let me get that right real quick.
Maybe like the first quarter. But
I think that's for receiving. Sorry.
I'll go under on the 19.5.
He's projected 62 and a half rushing. 62 and a half.
Okay.
What do you think, TJ?
Yeah, I'll actually go under on that then. I'll go under. I think the yards per carries, but yeah, you said it. The yards per carry has been increasing recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good for him. I still don't think that he gets the 62 yards this game. Seattle is, they're not going to be known for their defense. They gave up a lot to Christian McCaffrey last week, but Tony Pollard's not Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
and they don't run the offense through Tony Pollard like they do in San Francisco. So I'll go under.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Pollard, he wishes he was, but unfortunately, if the Cowboys had Christian McCaffrey, they're automatically Super Bowl contenders. With that being said, I think it'll go over just because, 119 yards, I think that Tony Pollard could replicate that to at least 62. He heard that I need to have a conversation about him, and then he wanted to have 2 back-to-back good games. So I think he'll have throw one in a row because he's been on the hot seat for me. So I'm going to go over.
Interesting game this is going to be. That's all I'm going to say. Interesting game. This is the time of the year where the Cowboys, people like to argue that they peak. We saw this last year once again with the 40-0 blowout in Minnesota, and then it felt like it was kind of a sputtering to the playoff race. But I want to see this team finish well this season, and at least finish with a nice little streak going, at least winning a majority of these games, because this stretch is about to get rough. It's about to get the most challenging stretch it can be for this season. You're going to play the Bills, the Dolphins, the Eagles, and some other foes. But this is going to be the last of the opponents that you could possibly breeze by before it gets really competitive against some pretty stout opponents. But that'll be the end of episode 15 here in the 2-4 Sports Show. Thank you for listening and watching. We're going to post our socials real quick. You can follow us at YouTube and Spotify. Like and subscribe there at 214 Sports Show. Again, at 214 Sports Show. We also have an Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter profile, now X. You can follow our platforms there too, at 214 Sports Show. You can also follow the link tree there if you want to find it all together. We have the links posted on all those platforms combined. For myself first, you can follow me at Joseph_Duffy99 on Instagram and Twitter, also X. Again, it's at Joseph_Duffy99. You can follow me there, Instagram and Twitter. What about you, TJ?
You can follow me on Instagram at tj.krulowitz. Twitter /X is going to be tj_Krulowitz.
Instagram, you can follow me at He Lives a Life. I'm not even playing this game this
week, bro. Let's go.
Man, it's not that.
He lives the life.
Y'all make me talk, man. It's not even this time.
My favorite.
And then Twitter, you can follow me at C_Bichotti.
Yeah, let's get out of here before our 2 co-hosts keep sneezing, man. They've been going through it.
I ain't sneezing, bro. I'm yawning, dude.
It's been a rough 2 weeks. Courtney needs some sleep, man. Real need to shut down. You need to get some antibiotics. I don't know why you don't just go to the doctor.
You got to thug it out sometimes.
He's trying to tough it out, man. Go to the doctor. You can have this resolved in like a day.
You gotta let Tylenol thug it out, man.
Shit. What's it called? It's this is my promo. Non-driving.
That's crazy. You got a deal.
CVS fake NyQuil, bro. I see it right there.
The off-brand NyQuil.
Couldn't afford the real one. $2 more. Who they think I was?
Yeah.
Why did you just get it at Target, bro? You don't get a deal?
I get 50%, but it was too far, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anyways, that'll wrap it up here at the 214 Sports Show, your home for all things DFW North Texas sports. Thank you for listening and or watching. Please come back to watch again or listen. Bye.